What if I told you that $10,000 is not money at all, but time? Time that can either quietly multiply while you sleep, or slowly decay while you're distracted. Most people rush to invest it as if they're afraid of it, as if holding it still for too long might somehow make it evaporate. But the truth is, the way you feel about this money will decide its future long before any market ever does. Fear makes it fragile. Patience makes it resilient. And in the next little while, I want to sit with you and explore something rarely discussed, not just where to invest $10,000 in 2026, but how to let it grow without fear, without noise, and without losing yourself along the way. When people talk about investing, they often speak quickly, as though the subject itself might run away if they slow down. They throw numbers at you. Percentages. Predictions. Timelines. And it can all feel rather overwhelming, like standing in a crowded marketplace where everyone is shouting directions at once. Yet in all my years observing the natural world, I've learned something quite simple. Systems that last do not hurry. They adapt. They balance. They conserve energy. And money, despite our attempts to make it exciting, follows the same quiet laws. If you're listening to this right now, there's a good chance you're carrying more than curiosity. You may be carrying pressure. Perhaps this $10,000 represents years of effort. Perhaps it's savings you protected carefully. Or perhaps it arrived suddenly, and now you're afraid of wasting what feels like an opportunity. Whatever its story, it matters to you. And that matters to me. Because this conversation is not about winning. It's about not breaking yourself while trying to grow. Most advice about investing assumes that the greatest risk is missing out. But I've seen again and again that the greater danger is rushing in without understanding the terrain. In nature, animals that expend all their energy chasing every movement rarely survive long. Those that endure choose their moments. They rest when necessary. They move when conditions are right. And they do not confuse activity with progress. So let us slow the pace, just a little. Imagine your $10,000 as a small river. Not a torrent, not a trickle, but a steady flow. Left unmanaged, it can overflow, washing away careful plans in moments of panic. Forced too harshly into one narrow channel, it can dry up or crack its banks. But guided gently, allowed to split and rejoin, it becomes life-giving. The goal is not control. It is stewardship. I once stood in a landscape that had recently burned. The ground was blackened. The air still carried the scent of ash. To the untrained eye, it looked like devastation. But over time, something extraordinary happened. Seeds long buried beneath the soil began to open. Plants that required heat to germinate emerged stronger than before. The fire had not destroyed the ecosystem. It had reset it. Growth returned, not immediately, but inevitably. Investing works much the same way. Periods of uncertainty, downturns, even losses, are not signs that you have failed. They are part of the cycle. The real mistake is assuming growth must always be visible to be real. Many people tell me they find this approach dull. And I always smile. Because boredom, in investing, is often a sign of health. Boring investments free your mind. They allow compounding to work quietly, like roots deep underground, strengthening a tree long before it grows taller. Ask yourself this gently. Would you rather watch your money every day, or let it work while you live your life? From there, we consider investments that reward patience directly. Dividend-paying companies. There is something profoundly calming about receiving income simply for holding something of value. You are not forced to time your exit perfectly. You are not waiting nervously for the right moment to sell. Instead, value flows to you steadily, like rainfall. At first it may seem insignificant. But over time, it changes your relationship with money. It teaches you that progress does not need to announce itself loudly to be meaningful. You may be surprised that I would suggest keeping some of this money in cash, or a high-yield savings account. Many people ask, why let money sit still? But stillness is not stagnation. In nature, animals rest to conserve energy for moments that matter. Cash gives you flexibility. It gives you options. It allows you to act when opportunity appears, rather than when fear demands action. It is not wasted potential. It is stored patience. Now let us speak of things that endure. Real assets. Land. Shelter. Space. Even if you never own property directly, you can participate through structures like real estate investment trusts. People will always need places to live, to work, to gather. This is not speculation. It is observation. These assets move slowly. They are influenced by time more than by headlines. And they remind us that value is often tied to utility, not excitement. One of the most powerful uses of $10,000 is also one of the most underestimated. Investing in yourself. Skills. Education. Tools. Knowledge compounds internally. It changes how you earn, how you adapt, how you see opportunity. Markets may fluctuate, but what you know and how you apply it grows with you. Ask yourself honestly, what skill, if strengthened, would quietly improve your life for decades? Few investments offer such reach. There is also ownership, in its simplest form. Small businesses. Side projects. Ventures that solve real problems for real people. This is not about risking everything on a dream. It is about understanding that some returns come not from prediction, but from participation. When you build something useful, even modestly, you are no longer guessing what the world wants. You are listening to it. Technology deserves a place as well, but only where it serves genuine needs. Tools that improve efficiency, communication, understanding. Not trends. Not noise. In nature, adaptations persist only if they serve survival. The same is true here. Learn to distinguish between utility and excitement. One endures. The other fades. Looking beyond borders is another quiet strength. Global investments remind us that growth does not belong to one place, one nation, one idea. Diversity of geography spreads risk and reflects reality. When one region struggles, another often steadies the whole. Resilience comes from variety. And finally, there is curiosity. A small, carefully contained portion of your money may explore new ideas, emerging technologies, speculative opportunities. But here, discipline matters most. Curiosity must be limited. In the wild, even the boldest predators hunt within boundaries. 5%. Perhaps 10%. Enough to learn, never enough to threaten your peace. If an investment keeps you awake at night, it has already cost too much. Pause here, just for a moment. Notice which of these ideas made you feel calm, and which stirred anxiety. That reaction is important. Because most people do not lose money in markets. They lose themselves. They abandon their plans at precisely the wrong moment, not because the plan was flawed, but because it was emotionally unsustainable. So here is a simple approach. Divide your $10,000 into 3 parts. Foundations, where stability lives. Growth, where patience compounds quietly. And curiosity, where learning happens safely. Automate what you can. Decide your rules before temptation arrives. Measure progress yearly, not daily. And remember that doing nothing at the right time is often an act of wisdom, not neglect. If peace is a form of return, then perhaps it is the most valuable one of all. As we come to the end of this reflection, I invite you to notice how you feel now compared to when we began. The money itself has not changed, but your posture toward it may have softened. It is no longer a test you must pass, or a race you must win. It is a companion on a long journey, one that rewards steadiness far more than speed. Let me leave you with a thought, spoken gently, and meant to stay with you. You are not behind. You are not careless. You are not late. You have simply been taught to rush. And now, you are learning to observe. If something here resonated with you, unsettled you in a good way, or brought a sense of calm, I would love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, your questions, your reflections. And if you'd like to continue exploring money, not as a source of stress, but as a tool for building a life that feels grounded and intentional, you're warmly invited to stay, to subscribe, and to walk this path together. After all, the most remarkable growth is rarely loud. It happens quietly, patiently, and over time.